Well, I think in general, the concept of celebrity endorsements is quite ridiculous. I mean, we think of celebrities obviously because they're experts in their field, a singer, a football star, an actor. Their views on politics are no more interesting than my views on, music, acting, or football in that kind of context. Nobody would accuse me of being an expert in that, and they are not experts in politics. So for them to be held up by any candidate or any campaign as having some kind of special significance is ridiculous. Most of the celebrity world, of course, lives totally in a different place to ordinary people. And the idea that we're having Hollywood superstars or, multi-billionaire singers telling us we should vote for, I think most ordinary people regard that as being actually offensive. And I think it actually backfires to have too many people. The odd celebrity, fine, that can add some, clout to what you're saying. But if you start to drown yourself with these people, it suggests you're actually out of touch and, you're Hollywood's candidate rather than the people's candidate. When you have people who election after election, I don't want to single anyone out particularly, but you'll know the pop stars, for example, the actors who every election support a certain candidate. It becomes sort of boring and pointless to do so. There's nothing surprising about it. There is, I would say that if there was somebody who had switched sides, as it were, somebody who normally supported one side and changed sides, that might be slightly more interesting. But I think it's a repetition, the sense that the power of celebrity is going to persuade people to vote. That tells you the candidate is not doing a good job because they've not persuaded you to vote yourself. So I think, again, this over-reliance on the same names or sort of big names who we know are going to back a particular brand or cause, it doesn't do any good for a campaign. Actually, I think it does harm it. So if you have, a lot of endorsements, it makes it seem as if your focus is on getting endorsements rather than getting votes. And I think a lot of people in the US, when it came down to it, when they got into the ballot box, decided that they knew the devil that was Donald Trump, and they didn't know the devil that was Kamala Harris. They didn't know what she stood for. They didn't know what her policies would be. They didn't know what kind of leader she was going to be and where she was going to take the country. And I think perhaps the excessive focus on trying to attract celebrities, again took away the focus from policy and from actually telling people what she was about, and made the whole election a bit of a hide and show affair where she was dangling celebrities rather than policy and suggesting that because these people are voting, you should vote for me too. I think, again, most ordinary people wanted to hear from her what her policies were, and she never got that across. And I think that the celebrity effect didn't cause, her loss, but I think it was symptomatic of why she lost. I think, yeah, if you look at Donald Trump's endorsements, again, I don't think people particularly cared about, whether Hulk Hogan was ripping off bandanas at Trump events. That probably fired up the people at the events, but I don't think anyone at home thought, you know what, Hulk Hogan's doing that. I'm backing Donald Trump. I think, of course, the one endorsement that did matter and made a big difference was Elon Musk's endorsement. Now, Elon Musk isn't a celebrity per se, but he's a very powerful person who's got a big platform. And I think we saw the way that he was able to, kind of steer traffic, as it were, through his platform, through that endorsement, and to have a much wider effect than most endorsers ever achieve. Not suggesting necessarily it's Musk attracting people to Trump, but I think it's Musk using his platform to attract people for Trump. And I think that is the power of an endorser who's got cachet or the ability to influence beyond just I'm attaching my name to a campaign. I mean, Musk really campaigned for Trump. He went out there, he stumped for him in person, and I think he used X to good effect to help the Trump campaign. So it's not per se that the fact that Elon Musk endorsed Trump, people went, well, I must vote for Trump. I think it was the way that Elon Musk endorsed him and the way he followed through with it that helped Trump. The problem I think both sides were really doing, but it affected Kamala more, was that they were going for a core vote strategy. Both of them. This is my core vote. This is a coalition that's going to take me one vote over the edge in the electoral college, and that's what I'm going for. There was no attempt really for crossover and to try and reach out to the other side's supporters. It was really, let's get my base out and try and hunker down and try and get as many votes from my base, as opposed to I'm going to convince people. And look, I think both candidates were guilty of that. Donald Trump, because that's just his nature, and Kamala Harris, because she made the wrong assumption. She made the assumption her base would be motivated to vote. It turned out they weren't, and that she could, get more of them out than Joe Biden did in the 4 years before. And both, that was wrong. So had she tried to reach out and shown people who she really was, she may just may, because we still don't know who she actually is, she may have actually had a greater impact. But that's a choice campaigns make. They've got to have a strategy. She was starting, from a very difficult position where she came in as a candidate very late on. They had to have a strategy of sorts. They could have gone all out to try and attract as many votes as possible or focus on core vote. They chose the latter. It didn't work. She lost.